Deep within a realm of ice and stone, a secret lies hidden, tucked away from the howling winds, in a den carved by time itself. New life stirs. Here, sheltered among ancient rocks, a litter of dire wolf pups has been born. Their eyes are still sealed against the world, tiny bodies huddled together for warmth. They are impossibly small, yet within them beats the heart of a giant, a legacy of the Ice Age. Their mother, a magnificent alpha female, offers her warmth and nourishment. Her fur, a thick mantle of silver and gray, is a fortress against the biting cold. The pups nurse, their instincts already sharp, their nascent fur a downy promise of the dense coats to come. This is a world where survival is the only law, and their first lesson is the comfort and strength found in family. Outside, the world is a vast, unforgiving expanse of white. The pup's father stands sentinel, a silent guardian whose presence is as formidable as the mountains themselves. His gaze sweeps across the landscape, missing nothing. He is not alone. Other members of the pack form a perimeter, their loyalty absolute. Every shadow, every gust of wind, every distant cry is noted and assessed. This is the pack, a complex society built on cooperation and mutual defense. For the pups, nestled deep in their rocky cradle, this collective vigilance is an invisible, impenetrable shield. They are the future of the pack, the continuation of a lineage that has dominated these lands for millennia, and their protection is paramount. Days bleed into weeks. The pup's eyes open, revealing irises of startling blue, like chips of glacial ice. Their wobbly legs grow stronger, and they begin to explore the confines of their den. Every nook and cranny is a new world to be discovered. They stumble over each other, their movements clumsy but filled with burgeoning energy. They are a whirlwind of soft fur and tiny, sharp teeth, nipping and tumbling in playful skirmishes. These are not just games. They are the earliest lessons in a life of combat and hierarchy. They test their strength, learn their limits, and forge the bonds that will one day make them a cohesive and deadly hunting unit. Their mother watches her gentle nudges and occasional low growls guiding their behavior, shaping the future alphas and hunters of the pack. As the first thaw of spring softens the edges of their world, the pups venture out of the den for the first time. They blink in the bright sunlight, their senses overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the world. The air is thick with 1,000 new scents: damp earth, budding pines, the distant aroma of prey. Every rustle in the undergrowth is a source of fascination and a little bit of fear. The adult wolves lead them on short excursions, their tails held high, teaching them to read the landscape. The pups learn to place their paws silently, to test the wind, to distinguish the track of a deer from that of a fox. Their playful pounces are now directed at grasshoppers and field mice, honing the predatory instincts that are their birthright. The seasons turn. Summer brings a riot of green to the valleys, and the pups, now lanky adolescents, are nearly half the size of the adults. Their fur has lost its puppy softness, replaced by the coarse, thick coat of a true dire wolf. Their jaws have strengthened, capable of delivering a formidable bite. The games have evolved. They now engage in mock hunts, chasing each other through the forests and meadows, practicing the intricate maneuvers they've observed in the adults. They learn to flank, to harry, to single out a target. The pack's experienced hunters bring back parts of a kill, allowing the young wolves to practice tearing at hide and sinew. It's a brutal but necessary education. In this world, there is no room for hesitation. Autumn paints the landscape in hues of fire and gold. The young wolves are now powerful figures, their adolescent awkwardness giving way to a fluid, muscular grace. They are a year old, and their training intensifies. They join the adults on real hunts, initially as observers, watching from a safe distance as the pack works in perfect synchrony to bring down a massive bison. They see the strategy, the communication, the raw power. They learn that a successful hunt is as much about intelligence and cooperation as it is about strength. Slowly, they are given small roles to play, herding the prey, cutting off escape routes. Every successful hunt reinforces the pack's bond and solidifies the young wolf's place within it. Winter returns, and the world is once again cloaked in snow. The pups of yesteryear are now fully grown, massive creatures standing shoulder to shoulder with their parents. They are indistinguishable from the seasoned veterans of the pack, their bodies hardened by the elements and their minds sharpened by a year of relentless training. They are a testament to the strength of their lineage and the power of the pack. They can now run for miles without tiring, their powerful legs eating up the frozen ground. Their howls, once thin and reedy, now resonate with the deep, primal authority of a true dire wolf, a sound that echoes through the valleys and strikes fear into the hearts of all who hear it. Tonight, they hunt as equals. The moon, a silver disk in the inky sky, casts long shadows across the snow. The pack moves as one, a silent gray river flowing through the trees. At its head runs the old alpha, but right beside him are his sons and daughters, their eyes glowing with the same fierce intelligence, the same unyielding determination. They are the inheritors of a harsh and beautiful kingdom. They are the living embodiment of the Ice Age, a perfect predator forged in a crucible of snow and stone. Their story is a cycle of life, death, and renewal, a timeless saga of survival written across the face of the wild. They are the dire wolves, and in this frozen world, they are kings. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the ancient world of the dire wolf. If you were captivated by the story of these incredible creatures, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tales from the wild. Let us know in the comments what ancient animal you'd like to see next. Until then, stay curious. Imagine a world cloaked in ice, a vast, frozen expanse under a sliver of a moon. It's North America, but not as we know it. This is the Pleistocene, an age of giants. The wind howls, a bitter, relentless force, sculpting dunes of snow and ice. Moonlight slices through the blizzard, revealing a landscape both beautiful and brutal. And then, a sound, a deep, haunting howl that echoes across the frozen plains. It's a sound that speaks of power, of pack, of an ancient hunger. Look closely. Silhouettes move against the horizon, massive and formidable. A pack of dire wolves, their eyes glowing like embers in the dark, their breath pluming into the frigid air. They are the apex predators of this world, a force of nature sculpted by the Ice Age itself. Every muscle, every sinew is honed for the hunt. They are a family, a dynasty of ice and fang, moving as one with chilling purpose across the unforgiving tundra. They were the rulers of this frozen kingdom. For over 100,000 years, their howls were the anthem of the night. They were relentless, intelligent, and perfectly adapted to a world of colossal prey and extreme cold. They faced down mammoths, hunted giant bison, and thrived where others would have perished. They were a symbol of survival, of raw, untamed power. And then, silence. The ice receded. The giants they hunted disappeared, and so did they. In the geological blink of an eye, the dire wolf, this magnificent predator that once ruled the continent, vanished from the face of the earth. Gone, leaving behind only fossilized bones and a profound, lingering mystery. What happened to the true wolf of the North? How could such a dominant and successful species just disappear? This is the story of their rise, their reign, and their sudden, enigmatic fall. To understand it, we must journey back in time, back to a world teeming with megafauna, a world both familiar and alien. The Pleistocene was an era of climatic extremes, with massive ice sheets advancing and retreating, shaping the very continents. Their teeth were less suited for shearing meat and more like daggers, designed for gripping and holding onto enormous, struggling prey. Fossil evidence, particularly from the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, gives us an incredible window into their lives. Thousands of dire wolf skeletons have been recovered, more than any other mammal. This abundance tells us they were incredibly successful and widespread, likely hunting in large, socially complex packs, much like modern wolves. A single wolf was formidable, but a pack was an unstoppable force, capable of defending kills and driving off rivals. For tens of thousands of years, this strategy worked perfectly. The dire wolf population boomed, spreading from Canada down to South America. They were a testament to evolutionary success, perfectly in sync with their environment and the giant herbivores that sustained them. So, what went so wrong? The end of the Pleistocene, around 12,000 years ago, brought about a period of rapid and dramatic change. The climate warmed, the great continental glaciers melted, and the landscape was transformed. Forests and grasslands replaced the cold, arid steppe that the megafauna and their predators called home. This event, known as the Quaternary Extinction Event, saw the disappearance of most of the world's large mammals. Gone were the mammoths, the mastodons, the giant ground sloths, and the Ice Age horses and camels. And with them went the dire wolf's primary food source. It's a classic case of what biologists call extinction cascades. When a keystone species disappears, it can trigger the collapse of the entire ecosystem around it. The dire wolf was a hypercarnivore, a specialist. Its entire physiology, its hunting strategy, its very existence was tied to these large herbivores. While the dire wolf struggled, another wolf was waiting in the wings, the gray wolf, Canis lupus, the ancestor of our modern dogs and wolves. For a long time, scientists thought the dire wolf was a direct ancestor of the gray wolf, but recent DNA analysis has revealed a shocking truth. The dire wolf wasn't a wolf at all, not in the way we thought. It was the last member of an ancient lineage of canids that originated in the Americas and had been evolving separately from the lineage of gray wolves, coyotes, and dogs for nearly 6 million years. They were a uniquely American predator, a ghost lineage with no living descendants. This genetic separation is key to understanding their extinction. The gray wolf, being more gracile and adaptable, was a generalist. It could hunt large prey, but it was equally adept at catching smaller animals like rabbits and rodents. As the megafauna died out, the gray wolf could switch to smaller, faster prey. The dire wolf, with its heavy build and bone-crushing specialization, simply couldn't adapt. It was too slow, too specialized for a world that was rapidly changing. It couldn't compete with the faster, more versatile gray wolf for the dwindling resources. There's also the human factor. The end of the Ice Age coincides with the arrival and spread of Paleo-Indians across the Americas. These highly intelligent and cooperative hunters, armed with sophisticated tools, were also targeting the same large game animals. The added pressure from human hunting may have been the final nail in the coffin for the struggling megafauna, which in turn sealed the dire wolf's fate. So, the terrible wolf found itself in a perfect storm. Its specialized prey was disappearing due to climate change and human pressure, and it was being outcompeted by a more adaptable, distant cousin. Trapped by its own evolutionary success, it had nowhere to go. The last dire wolf howls likely faded out around 9,500 years ago, a final, lonely cry in a world that no longer had a place for it. The story of the dire wolf is a powerful, cautionary tale. It shows how even the most dominant and successful species can be vulnerable to rapid environmental change. It highlights the intricate web of life, where the fate of one species is inextricably linked to all others. They were not failures. They were masters of their time, perfectly adapted to a world that no longer exists. Today, all we have left are their fossilized bones and the stories they tell, but their legacy endures. They have been immortalized in our culture, in books, games, and shows, as a symbol of wild, primeval power. They remind us of a time when the world was younger and wilder, a time of giants, and they serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present reality of extinction. The king of the Ice Age is gone, but the echo of its howl still resonates, a ghost from a lost world. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to the Ice Age. If you were captivated by the story of this incredible lost predator, please give this video a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of our planet's past. Let us know in the comments what ancient creature you'd like to see us explore next. Thanks for watching. The vast, windswept plains of Pleistocene, North America. A seemingly endless expanse of grass, but this is a land of giants. Herds of bison, thousands strong, thunder across the landscape. Wild horses, elegant and swift, graze cautiously, and towering above them all, the mighty mammoths and mastodons, ancient kings of this realm. But this land is also ruled by hunters, and among the most formidable, a predator built for this world of giants, the dire wolf, Canis dirus. The name itself speaks of fear and power. Larger and more robust than any wolf alive today, the dire wolf was a masterpiece of predatory evolution. These were not lone hunters. They were the embodiment of teamwork, moving in coordinated packs across the plains. Their strategy wasn't about explosive speed like a cheetah. It was about something far more relentless: endurance. They would trail the great herds for days, their powerful legs eating up the miles, their senses constantly probing for a sign of weakness. An old bison falling behind, a young horse straying from its mother, a mammoth weakened by injury or age. This is what they watched for. The pack operated as one, a single mind with many bodies, communicating through subtle shifts in posture, a flick of an ear, a silent glance. Once a target was selected, the hunt began in earnest. The pack would flow around the prey, a gray tide of fur and muscle. They were experts at separating their chosen animal from the safety of the herd. Panic would set in as the wolves methodically cut off escape routes. The air would fill with the desperate calls of the prey and the low, menacing growls of the hunters. The final moments of the hunt were a display of brutal efficiency. The dire wolf's greatest weapon was its bite. Its jaws were shorter and broader than a modern gray wolf's, designed to house immense muscles. The force they could generate was staggering, enough to crush bone. They would swarm their quarry, their powerful jaws locking on, bringing the colossal animal down through a combination of blood loss, shock, and sheer overwhelming force. It was a grim but necessary part of life on these prehistoric plains. A successful hunt meant a feast. The pack would gorge themselves, reinforcing the social bonds that made them so successful. The alpha pair would typically eat first, asserting their dominance, but there was usually enough to go around for every member, from the strongest adults to the youngest pups waiting back at the den. This communal feeding was crucial for the pack's survival and cohesion. But the dire wolf was not the only apex predator in this lost world. They shared their territory with an even more iconic carnivore, the Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat. When these two titans met, tensions ran high, especially at a carcass. A lone wolf, or even a small group, would be no match for the raw power of a Smilodon. Its dagger-like canines were instruments of a swift, deadly strike. Often, the wolves would have to wait their turn. We can imagine the scene: a freshly killed bison, the massive saber-tooth feeding on the choicest parts, while a ring of hungry dire wolves watches from a safe distance. Their patience was a weapon in itself. They would wait, growling and snarling, testing the cat's resolve. Sometimes, the sheer number of wolves would be enough to intimidate the Smilodon into abandoning its meal. It was a high-stakes standoff, a battle of nerves between two of the greatest predators the world has ever known. This rivalry extended beyond just scavenging. They competed for the same prey, the same territory. Encounters were likely frequent and often violent. A footprint in the mud, the scent on the wind, these were signs that could mean the difference between a full belly and a deadly confrontation. Each predator had to be constantly aware of the other's presence. Yet, despite their power, their intelligence, and their success, the dire wolves were destined to vanish. As the Pleistocene epoch drew to a close, around 10,000 years ago, the world began to change. The climate warmed, the great ice sheets retreated, and the megafauna of the giant mammals that the dire wolves depended on began to disappear. The mammoths, the mastodons, the giant ground sloths, the ancient bison, their food source, was dying out. The dire wolf, so perfectly specialized for hunting these large, slow-moving animals, found itself in a world it no longer recognized. Its rival, the more adaptable gray wolf, was better suited to hunting the smaller, swifter prey, like deer and elk, that now thrived. The dire wolf's powerful, heavy build, once an advantage, became a liability. It couldn't compete with its leaner, faster cousin. The fossils they left behind tell a story of a species in decline, their bones showing signs of stress and starvation in their final millennia. They were the undisputed kings of the Ice Age plains, a symbol of predatory perfection. But when their world vanished, they vanished with it, leaving only their bones to whisper tales of their reign. Today, we look back at these incredible animals with a sense of awe. The dire wolf represents a raw, untamed power from a forgotten time. They were more than just monsters of myth and legend. They were real, living creatures, a vital part of a complex and dynamic ecosystem. By studying their remains, we can piece together the story of their lives, their hunts, and their ultimate extinction, reminding us that even the mightiest can fall when the world changes around them. The ghost of the direwolf still haunts the American plains, a timeless testament to the savage beauty of the Ice Age. In the vast, untamed wilderness, under the silent watch of ancient mountains and endless skies, a story of survival, family, and power unfolds. This is the world of the wolf, an animal often misunderstood, but one that embodies a profound sense of community and intelligence. For the next 10 minutes, we'll journey deep into the heart of a wolf pack, to witness the intricate social fabric that allows them to not just survive, but thrive against all odds. The life of a wolf is defined by its territory. This isn't just a patch of land. It's a kingdom, a pantry, and a nursery, all rolled into one. The borders of this kingdom are invisible to us, but to other wolves, they are as clear as a fortress wall. How do they achieve this? Through a complex system of scent marking. Every day, the pack patrols its boundaries. The alpha pair, the leaders of the pack, will raise a leg to leave their scent on trees, rocks, and prominent landmarks. This isn't just a simple keep-out sign. It's a living newspaper telling trespassers who is in charge, how many wolves are in the pack, and even how recently they passed by. It's a declaration of ownership, a chemical fence that warns rivals. This land is taken, and it will be defended. But within these invisible walls, a rich social life flourishes, governed by a clear and fascinating hierarchy. At the very top are the alpha male and female. They are not bullies or tyrants, but wise leaders, usually the parents of most of the pack members. They make the crucial decisions: when to hunt, where to travel, and when to rest. Their leadership is earned through experience, strength, and intelligence. You can see their status in their every move, their tails held high, their ears pricked forward, their confident and direct gaze. They carry the weight of the pack's survival on their shoulders. Below the alphas are the beta wolves. Think of them as the lieutenants. They are often next in line for leadership and play a vital role in enforcing the pack's rules and assisting the alphas. They help lead the hunt and discipline the younger, more boisterous members of the pack. Their posture is still confident, but more deferential to the alphas. A slightly lower tail, a quick glance away. These subtle signals maintain harmony and order. Further down the ladder are the mid-ranking wolves. These are the backbone of the pack, the hunters and the guardians. They have their place and understand their role. Finally, at the bottom is the omega. This is often the most misunderstood position. While they are the lowest ranking and often the target of playful pestering from the others, the omega serves a critical function. They act as a social lubricant, a tension reliever. Their submissive behavior can diffuse conflicts and bring the pack together. They are often the most playful and can instigate group activities that strengthen social bonds. Every member, from alpha to omega, has a purpose. This hierarchy isn't about oppression. It's a sophisticated system for reducing conflict and ensuring everyone works together for the common good. These bonds, this pack unity, are reinforced daily through intimate social rituals. Grooming is one of the most common. Wolves will gently nibble and lick each other's fur, not just for cleanliness, but to strengthen relationships and show affection. You'll often see subordinate wolves approaching the alphas with lowered heads and wagging tails, licking their muzzles in a sign of respect and submission. This behavior harks back to their puppyhood, when they would lick their mother's face to encourage her to regurgitate food. In adults, it's a gesture of trust and loyalty. And then there is the howl. It is one of the most haunting and beautiful sounds in nature. A wolf howling alone is a lonely, searching call. But when the pack howls together, it becomes something more. It's a symphony of belonging. The chorus of howls, with each wolf taking a slightly different pitch to create a richer sound, serves multiple purposes. It's a rally cry before a hunt, a warning to rival packs, and most importantly, a declaration of unity. It says, "We are here, we are one, we are strong." It's the pack's soul made audible. Perhaps the most touching display of this unity is in the raising of pups. When the alpha female gives birth in a secluded den, the entire pack becomes a family of caregivers. While the mother stays with her vulnerable newborns, other pack members take on the responsibility of hunting and bringing food back to the den. They don't just drop it off, they regurgitate the partially digested meat, making it easier for the pups and the nursing mother to eat. As the pups grow and begin to venture out, they are watched over by the entire pack. Uncles, aunts, and older siblings all act as babysitters, playmates, and protectors. They teach the pups essential skills, from hunting techniques learned through playfighting to the complex social etiquette of the pack. This communal effort ensures the highest possible survival rate for the next generation. It is a testament to the idea that it truly takes a village, or, in this case, a pack, to raise a child. But the world of the wolf is not always peaceful. The same territory that provides for them can also become a battlefield. Resources are finite, and when a neighboring pack's hunting grounds are depleted, or their numbers grow too large, conflict becomes inevitable. These are not random skirmishes, they are calculated risks. A pack will carefully assess the strength of their rivals. Encounters at the border often begin with a war of intimidation. Posturing, growling, and howling are all used to gauge the other side's resolve. If intimidation fails, a chase may ensue. These are tense, high-stakes confrontations where the goal is often to drive the intruders away rather than to engage in a full-blown fight. Fights are incredibly risky. An injury can mean being unable to hunt, which is often a death sentence in the wild. However, when territories are fiercely contested, these encounters can escalate. These moments reveal the formidable side of the wolf. They are not just social animals. They are powerful predators, perfectly evolved for this life of challenge and conflict. The same loyalty that binds them together in peace makes them a fearsome fighting force when their family and home are threatened. Through it, all the quiet moments of grooming, the joyful chaos of raising pups, the soul-stirring howl, and the tense defense of their land, we see the true nature of the wolf. Their survival is not just a matter of sharp teeth and strong legs. It is a product of their remarkable intelligence, their complex communication, and their unwavering loyalty to one another. They are a living example of how community and cooperation can become the ultimate tools for survival. The wolf pack is more than just a group of animals. It's a family, a dynasty, an ancient society that has mastered the art of living together in a challenging world. They remind us that there is incredible strength in unity and profound wisdom in the bonds of family. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of the wolf. If you found this as fascinating as we do, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the wild. See you next time. The world is changing. A gentle warmth begins to creep across the vast, frozen landscapes of the late Pleistocene. At first, it's almost imperceptible, a subtle shift in the air, a few extra days of thaw each year. But soon, the signs become undeniable. Mighty glaciers, titans of ice that have dominated the continent for millennia, start to weep. Rivers of meltwater carve new paths through the ancient ice, and colossal chunks break away, crashing into the burgeoning lakes with a thunderous roar. The world is softening, melting at the edges. This is the world of the dire wolf, Canis dirus. For thousands of years, they have been the apex predators of this icy realm, larger and more robust than their gray wolf cousins. With a bite force capable of crushing bone, they are perfectly adapted to hunt the megafauna that roam these plains. Their lives are a testament to raw power and pack loyalty, a brutal but balanced dance of survival. Herds of giant ground sloths, lumbering mammoths, and formidable saber-toothed cats are their neighbors, their rivals, and their prey. The dire wolf is a king in a kingdom of giants, but their kingdom is beginning to crumble. As the climate warms, the familiar hunting grounds transform. The vast open grasslands, ideal for chasing down large, slow-moving herbivores, start to shrink. In their place, dense forests and unfamiliar vegetation sprout, creating a landscape that is claustrophobic and confusing. The trees crowd together, their branches tangling into a thick canopy that obscures the sky. The open plains that once offered clear lines of sight are now a maze of trunks and shadows. For a predator built for the chase, this new world is a difficult puzzle. Their powerful, heavy bodies are not designed for agility and stealth in a crowded forest. They are sprinters, not stalkers. And with the changing landscape comes a change in the menu. The megafauna, the very foundation of the dire wolf's existence, are struggling. Species like the giant bison and wild horse, their primary food sources, find their grazing lands disappearing. Their populations begin to dwindle, scattered and weakened by the environmental shift. For the dire wolf packs, this means the hunt becomes harder. Stalks that once ended in a satisfying feast now more often end in failure. Hunger, a rare visitor in times of plenty, becomes a constant, gnawing presence. The pups in the den grow thinner, their cries more desperate. It is into this world of upheaval that a new predator arrives. They are smaller, weaker, and seemingly less formidable. They walk on two legs, their bodies frail compared to the muscular might of a dire wolf. But they possess a cunning and a tool that will change the face of the planet forever: intelligence and fire. These are the first humans to set foot in the Americas. They hunt not with brute strength, but with strategy. They use crafted spears with sharpened stone points, allowing them to kill from a safer distance. They coordinate in large, sophisticated groups, using signals and plans to entrap and overwhelm prey far larger than themselves. They also wield the power of the flame. Fire becomes a tool for hunting, used to drive herds of panicked animals over cliffs or into ambushes. It reshapes the land on a scale never seen before, clearing vast tracts of the encroaching forests for their own purposes. The dire wolves watch from the shadows as these strange, upright creatures achieve with ease what is becoming increasingly difficult for them. The scent of roasted meat, a feast they did not earn, fills the air. A tantalizing and frustrating reminder of their own growing desperation. A new, terrifyingly efficient competitor has entered the arena. The competition doesn't stop there. Another canid is thriving in this new world: the gray wolf. Lighter, faster, and more adaptable, the gray wolf is perfectly suited to the changing environment. Their smaller size allows them to navigate the dense forests with ease, and their more varied diet means they aren't solely reliant on the disappearing megafauna. They can sustain themselves on smaller prey like deer and rabbits, animals that are flourishing in the new woodland habitats. Where the dire wolf sees a barren forest, the gray wolf sees a land of opportunity. Friction between the two species escalates. Once, the sheer size and power of the dire wolf would have been enough to intimidate and dominate their smaller cousins. But now, things are different. The dire wolf packs are weakened by hunger, their numbers dwindling. The gray wolves, well-fed and thriving, become bolder. Confrontations over carcasses become more frequent and more violent. A lone dire wolf, once an intimidating sight, is now vulnerable to a pack of agile gray wolves. The balance of power is shifting, and the ancient rulers are being usurped. We can see the story of their decline written in the fossil record at Labrie tar pits, a natural asphalt seep that trapped and preserved countless prehistoric animals. The layers of time tell a stark tale. In the older pits, dire wolf bones are abundant, far outnumbering those of gray wolves. They were the dominant predator, a fixture of the landscape. But as we move to more recent layers, the ratio begins to change. Dire wolf remains become scarcer, while gray wolf bones become more common. This isn't just a local event, it's a pattern repeated across the continent. The evidence is clear. One species is thriving at the expense of the other. Imagine the last centuries of their existence. A dire wolf pack, smaller and more ragged than their ancestors, moves through a world they no longer recognize. The air is warmer, the trees thicker. The thunderous footsteps of the mammoth are gone, replaced by the rustle of smaller, faster creatures in the undergrowth. The pack leader, scarred and gaunt, lifts his head to the sky. He lets out a howl, but it's a different sound from the confident calls of his forebears. It is a lonely, mournful cry, a lament for a lost world. It echoes through the unfamiliar forests, but fewer and fewer of his kind are left to answer. The final blow comes with the extinction of their last remaining prey. The era of the megafauna is over. The giant sloths, the camels, the horses all vanish, victims of the changing climate and the relentless pressure from the new human hunters. With their food source gone, the dire wolf's fate is sealed. They are specialists in a world that now rewards generalists. Their immense power, once their greatest asset, has become their fatal flaw. They are too big, too specialized, too slow to adapt. The last dire wolf likely died alone, the end of a lineage that had stretched back for 250,000 years. There was no cataclysmic event, no single dramatic end. It was a slow, quiet, fading away, a species slipping through the cracks of a changing world. They were giants from a bygone era, unable to find their footing in the new world that was dawning. Their story is a powerful and somber reminder that even the mightiest can fall, not to a stronger foe, but to the relentless, unstoppable march of time and change. Their reign was over. The age of ice and giants had given way to the age of forests and humans. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the past as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories from our planet's incredible history.
Imagine a world not so long ago, draped in ice and shadow, a world ruled by giants. Among them, a predator of legendary status, the direwolf. Canis dirus, their very name echoes power. For thousands of years, they were the apex, the undisputed sovereigns of the Pleistocene. We see them now, padding through a sparse, windswept forest. The air is thin, cold. The once abundant herds of giant bison and horses are gone, vanished like ghosts on the frigid wind. This pack, lean and hungry, is one of the last. Their powerful jaws, capable of crushing bone, now snap at empty air. Their deep-set eyes, once burning with the confidence of the hunt, now hold a flicker of desperation. They are a dynasty at its end. A kingdom crumbling. The alpha male, his muzzle scarred from 100 battles, lifts his head. A final, mournful howl cuts through the biting wind. It's not a cry of dominance, but a lament, a question asked to an uncaring sky. It travels across the barren plains, over the shrinking glaciers, a sound wave of sorrow, and then silence. A profound, echoing silence that swallows the howl, the wind, and an entire era. The last dire wolf has sung its final song. The reign of the Ice Age kings is over. Fast forward 10,000 years. The ice has retreated, replaced by the sprawling concrete and asphalt of modern Los Angeles. In the heart of this metropolis lies a portal to the past. The La Brie tar pits. Here, amidst the scent of bubbling asphalt and the city's hum, a different kind of hunter is at work. Scientists, armed not with teeth and claws, but with brushes, picks, and ground-penetrating radar. They are paleontologists, detectives of deep time. Every day, they pull secrets from the sticky graves that have preserved the Pleistocene so perfectly. And what secrets they are. They unearth the bones of mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and most numerously, the dire wolf. More than 4,000 individual dire wolves have been recovered from these pits, a staggering collection that paints a vivid picture of their lives and their dramatic demise. We watch as a team carefully excavates a skull, its formidable teeth still locked in a silent snarl after millennia. Each bone is a piece of a puzzle, a clue to a mystery that has haunted us for over a century. Why did they disappear? Back in the lab, the story continues. Skeletons are pieced together, bone by meticulous bone. We see them take shape. Massive, powerful frames, larger and more robust than any modern gray wolf. They stand reconstructed in museum halls, silent monuments to a lost world. They are not just bones. They are testaments to a life of brutal efficiency. Their skeletons show evidence of countless injuries, healed fractures that speak of violent takedowns and fierce competition. These were not graceful hunters. They were brawlers, built for ambush and overwhelming force. But the bones only tell part of the story. The real revolution is happening at a microscopic level. Scientists are now drilling into the very core of these ancient remains, extracting fragments of degraded DNA. This is where the debate truly ignites. For the longest time, we assumed dire wolves were just a bigger, tougher version of the gray wolves we know today. A close cousin, perhaps, but the genetic evidence delivered a bombshell. The DNA results were shocking. Dire wolves weren't closely related to gray wolves at all. They were a uniquely American lineage, a branch of the canine family tree that had been evolving in isolation for millions of years. They were a completely different species, so distinct that they likely couldn't even interbreed with the ancestors of modern wolves. This discovery turned everything we thought we knew on its head. It meant that two incredibly similar wolf-like predators existed at the same time, in the same place. A stunning example of convergent evolution. But it also deepened the mystery of their extinction. If they were so different, what sealed their fate while the more slender, adaptable gray wolf survived? The answer, it seems, lies in the very source of their strength, their specialization. The dire wolf was a master of a single craft, hunting megafauna. They were perfectly engineered to take down the colossal herbivores of the late Pleistocene. Their thick bones could withstand the stress of wrestling with giant ground sloths and bison. Their powerful jaws were made for delivering crushing, fatal bites. For tens of thousands of years, this strategy was incredibly successful. The plains were a banquet, and the dire wolf was the undisputed king of the feast. But then, the world changed. The climate warmed rapidly. The vast grasslands and forests that supported the giant herbivores began to shift and shrink. The megafauna, unable to adapt to the new vegetation and potentially pressured by the arrival of a new, clever predator, humans began to die out. Wolf's entire menu was disappearing. The banquet was over. Imagine being the most powerful hunter the world has ever known, only to find there is nothing left to hunt. To Wolf, greatest asset became its fatal flaw. Their heavy build, perfect for tackling giants, made them less efficient at chasing smaller, faster prey like deer and elk. Their robust jaws, designed for crushing bone, weren't as suited for the slicing bites needed to hunt agile animals. They were specialists in a world that suddenly demanded generalists. Meanwhile, the gray wolf, their more gracile contemporary, was thriving. Lighter, faster, and more versatile. They could switch their diet, chasing rabbits one day and deer the next. They were adaptable. They could bend with the winds of change. The dire wolf could not. Their power had locked them into a single path, and that path led directly off a cliff. They were a testament to the fact that strength, in the face of fundamental change, is not Enog. Power cannot stop the tide. It cannot hold the changing of the seasons or the shifting of an entire ecosystem. And so, we are left with the silence. The silence that followed the last howl. We return to that empty landscape, now bathed in the cold, gray light of a new dawn. There are no giants on the horizon. No thundering herds. The plains are barren, waiting for new life to take root. The story of the dire wolf is not just a tragedy from a bygone era. It is a profound lesson. It's a reminder that adaptation is the true key to survival, not brute force. It shows us that even the mightiest can fall when the world they were built for vanishes from beneath their feet. It is a story written in bone and tar, decoded by science, that speaks to us across the millennia. A story of power, of loss, and of the relentless, unforgiving nature of change. As we look out over this quiet, empty world, we are reminded of our own place in the grand, ever-changing tapestry of life, and we are left to wonder what giants walk among us today, oblivious to the fact that their world, too, is about to change forever. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into the mysteries of our planet's past. Let us know in the comments what ancient creature you'd like us to explore next. Until then, keep questioning.